Last year, in 2022, Cooltech introduced the Monolith open-air PC frame. Cooltech is a small business located in Texas, and the Monolith is its first product. The frame has a clever design with the power supply and motherboard on one side of the frame, and space for a PCIe card on the opposite side, in a vertical orientation. James from Cooltech designed the Monolith with silence in mind, even using a fanless CPU cooler in his demonstration build. So he offered to send a sample Monolith to me for review. I agreed and thought it would be great to test this against enclosed PC cases. So look for that video in the next couple months. The Monolith is compatible with Mini-ITX motherboards, graphics cards up to 304mm long and 3 slots wide, and ATX power supplies up to 160mm long. It also has space for up to 4 2.5-inch drives, or 2 3.5-inch drives with a smaller graphics card. It is made of 1/8 inch thick aluminum, and weighs 2 pounds and 2 ounces. The base package includes 2 90-degree power cable elbows, a power button, a USB 2.0 cable, and nuts, bolts, and standoffs for installation. Optionally, it can come with a PCIe 3.0 riser, and 90-degree display or Ethernet elbows. There are a few other open-air PC frame options available, but the Monolith has a unique compact design. Without further ado, here is the build montage. I'll follow that up with a discussion of thermal test results. Now let's take a look at how the PC frame performed thermally, with the help of Prime95, Firmark, and Hardware Info. The test build included an Asus B660i motherboard, an Intel i9 13900K CPU, a Noctua NHP1 Fanless CPU heatsink, an ASRock Intel Arc A380 graphics card, an Arctic Accelero S1 Fanless GPU heatsink, and a SeaSonic Fanless PX500 power supply. The CPU's power was limited to 100 watts via BIOS, and the GPU's power was limited to just 35 watts via Intel's Arc control software. After a half-hour stress test with the CPU at 100 watts, the maximum average core temperature reached 81.4 degrees, with a 20.5 degree ambient temperature. If I look at the last 5 builds that I've completed, with the Noctua P1 heatsink and a Fractal Design Meshify 2 case with no fans, the average maximum CPU temperature after a half-hour 100-watt stress test was 86.4 degrees, adjusted for a 20.5 degree ambient temperature. So, it looks like the open-air monolith cut 5 degrees off of the maximum CPU temperature versus a standard enclosed PC case, even one with a lot of ventilation like the Meshify 2. There is a downside though. After half an hour with the GPU at 35 watts, the maximum core temperature reached 82.2 degrees, with a 20.6 degree ambient temperature. I know from past experience that the Arctic Accelero S1 can easily handle 75 watts in a standard horizontal orientation, but unfortunately its performance is severely compromised in a vertical orientation. I had to cut the Intel Arc A380's power in half to feel comfortable with its thermal performance with a fanless heatsink in this orientation. The Intel A380 still performs okay at 35 watts, well enough for a low-end gaming PC, but this can be a big limitation if aiming for a 100% passive PC with the Monolith. As much as I hate to say it, a better option for a gaming PC with the Monolith would be to use a semi-passive graphics card that will have its fans start spinning only when needed while gaming or doing other graphics-intensive work. There are a couple other things that I'd like to mention about the frame, things for possible improvement. When the frame arrived, its edges were quite rough and a little sharp in some places. I used a deburring tool to round the edges out a bit, and it helped a lot, but ideally that would be done in the factory. Second, the frame can be a bit wobbly. If it's not touched, it's not a problem. It does hold the components just fine, but it would be nice if it felt a bit sturdier. In conclusion, the Cooltech Monolith offers an interesting option for a silent PC. Even if you decide to add fans, the heatsink's access to cool air is unrestricted, allowing optimal CPU heatsink performance. I can't quite say the same thing for the GPU unfortunately, due to its vertical orientation, but if Cooltech ever decides to produce a PC frame with a horizontal GPU mounting option, I'm sure it would perform excellently for a fanless GPU as well. Visit fullysilentpcs.com if you are interested in purchasing your own custom-built fanless PC. Thanks for watching, like this video, share it, and subscribe for more fanless PC content.